Hello, my dear student friends. Welcome back to our channel. Okay, so today we are going to discuss on controllers and compensators. First, let's discuss about compensators. What are compensators? So, compensators. A compensator is a component in control system used to regulate the another system. Okay, it is a component in control system. Component in control system used to regulate the another system. Okay, so there are a main requirement of control system. The compensators are in the first situation, the system itself unstable. Okay, when the system itself is unstable. The second case is if the system is stable. Understand? So there are two situations arises the requirement of a compensator. First is the system is unstable. Okay. So when the system is unstable, to make the stable, to make it stable. So to make it stable, we require the compensator. Okay, as well as to achieve the desired performance or specified performance. Okay, so this is the first case. Why compensator required? Why compensators required? So second case is the system is stable. When the system is stable, so the compensation is mainly required for the second case, required to obtain, to achieve the desired performance. Same desired performance. Understand? Desired performance. Okay. So the specific task of the compensator requirements can be achieved by proper designing of control system. Okay. So this the specific task, a particular task, the required task in the control system. Okay, required task of control system can be achieved by proper design of control systems, right? So the specified task of control system is can be achieved. Okay, can be achieved by designing proper controller or compensator. Okay, understand? So either by designing a compensator or a controller. Okay, the performance specification of a control system is generally related to. Okay, the performance specification means the performance specifications means the performance specifications are accuracy, stability, and response time. Okay, response time. So these are all the important things. Apart from for the overshoot, overshoot and undershoot are also the main task. Okay, to avoid suppress the overshoot. Okay, then the performance specifications are in time domain. Okay, the performance specification of system given in time domain. When the performance specifications are given in time domain. So if the performance specifications are given in the time domain, then we have to handle the time domain technique. Okay, we have to the design can be carried out by time domain techniques. Suppose if the performance specifications are given in frequency domain, we have to use the design should be carried out or may be carried out. Design can be carried out by frequency domain technique. For example, this technique can have it as root locus technique. This technique, for example, Bode technique. Plot. So these are the techniques we normally follow while designing a control system, compensator, right? By designing a compensator. Understand? The main, while designing these compensators, the additional devices, the designing a control system, the additional devices or components that are added to the systems called compensators, the additional device. Okay, so the designing a control system, the following to design the control system, the following steps to be followed. Okay, so what are the various techniques to be followed? Determine how the system functions and what the systems to do. So the first step is determine. First we have to determine how the system, okay, how the system functions, and what the system to do. Okay, system has to do. So this is first you have to check to design a control system. First to determine the system functions, then determine the controller. Determine the controller. Okay, the controller or the compensator that can be suitable for the given system. So determine the controller or compensator which is suitable for the system, the type of system. Okay, then next step, determine the parameters, okay, determine the parameters or constants, okay, or system constants present, okay, present in the controller. in the controller or compensator or compensator transfer function that has been chosen according to the previous steps. Okay, so controller compensator transfer function that has been chosen for the above system. Okay, so first we have to determine how the system functions and what the system has to do. Determine the controller or compensator which is suitable for the system. Determine the parameter or constants present in the controller or compensators. So these are all the various steps to be followed. Okay, the compensator may be basically the compensators may be an electrical network or mechanical or pneumatic or whatever may be. Okay, the compensators may be either electrical or mechanical or okay hydraulic or pneumatic, hydraulic, pneumatic, etc. So any compensator can be of this. Okay, so basically the compensator circuit introduce a code or zero. So the compensator circuit, any okay, a compensator circuit, okay, will introduce will introduce a pole or a zero. Okay, a pole or zero, a pole or zero to the present system, okay, or existing system. Understand? Existing system. Understand? So to meet, we have to introduce a pole or zero to meet in the existing system to meet the desired performance specifications. Okay, the compensator may be electrical, mechanical, hydraulic, or pneumatic, whatever may be. Right? Understand now? So there are different types of compensators. So types of compensators. Basically, as I told you, the compensator are the control system components. Okay, so there are different places in control system, feedback control system. We can place the compensator in many places. So according to our requirement, we can place it the compensators. So based on that, the compensation types of compensation. So what are the type of compensation? First one is series or cascade. Okay, series or cascade. Okay, then feedback or parallel. Feedback or parallel. Third one, load or series parallel. Okay, load or series parallel. Load compensation is called load or series parallel. Then state feedback compensation. Then forward compensation with series compensation. Forward plus series. Okay, feed forward. So these are all different types of compensation in the control system. Okay. Let's see. This is series compensation. Okay. This is series compensator. Okay. So this is series compensator. Then feedback. So this is feedback compensator. This is feedback compensator. Okay. So here in series, the compensator is here. Okay. So compensator or controller, GC of S is a compensator or controller. Here it is present in the feedback. So feedback compensator. Understand? So then this is series. This is load compensator. This is called the third type, load compensator. So this is load series. Okay. So this is load compensator. Load compensator. So here the controller compensator is placed in two places. Compensator. This is also compensator. Okay. So the next type is the state feedback. So this is state feedback. So the implementation of state feedback compensation is very costly and impractical for higher order systems. So this state feedback system is very costly. So that's why it is impractical for higher order systems. Okay. So then next, this is the series feedback. Okay, feedback series. Okay, that is forward series. Forward series. This type is series forward. Forward. So this is forward. This forward type. So series forward type of compensators. So compensators in this case, the compensators are placed in two places. So as see, this alone is called a series compensator. So this compensator placed in forward part. So it is called series forward or forward series compensator. So this is feed forward. So the forward compensator is feed in the forward system. Okay. So this is feed forward. So feed forward compensators. Clear? So as I told here, so when we add a pole or zero, it alters the existing system. Okay, the existing system performance. So in this case, if we introduce a pole, if a pole or additional pole to the control system. Okay, so what are the various effects? Effects in the control system. Let's see. Effect of adding poles. Effects of adding poles. So what are the various effects of adding poles? So if we add a pole in the system, the root locus of a compensated system will be shifted towards right hand side. So first, if we add a pole to a system, okay, the roots, the root locus of the compensated system will be shifted to right hand side of the pole zero diagram. Okay, if we add a pole in the uncompensated system, So the root locus of the compensated system. Compensated means after adding the pole, the addition of pole creates alter the system performance. Right hand side of the S plane. Okay. So the next effect of adding pole is the stability gets lower. Okay, stability is get lower because when the poles present in the right hand side of the root locus, okay, if a pole root locus shifted to right hand side means the system becomes unstable. Okay, the system becomes unstable. So the stability uh, gets lowered. Okay, lowered. Then the settling time increases. The settling time so the TS settling time increases. Settling time increases. Then accuracy of the system is improved. Okay, the accuracy of the system is improved by reduction of steady state error. So the accuracy uh, is improved. Okay, improved by reducing steady state error. By reducing steady state error. Okay, so these are all the various effects of adding poles. Similarly, if we add a zero to the system, so effects of adding zeros. So what are the effects of adding zeros? If we add a zero to the existing system, the compensated, okay, the vice versa. Okay, the root locus shifted to left hand side of the S plane. Left hand side of the S plane. So it is negative to the opposite to the poles. Okay. Then the stability gets increased. So stability is increased. Then settling time decreases. Then accuracy is reduced. Accuracy is lowered and steady state error increases. So these are all the effect of addition of poles and zeros. Okay, so we are going to add a compensator means it consists of both poles and zeros. Okay, so the generalized transfer function for a compensator is GC of S equal to K into Kc S plus Z divided by S plus P. Okay, Z is 0, P is the pole. So Kc is the constant. It's the compensator constant. Understand? So GC of S. So what we are going to do is we have to design this Kc, Z, P, and the constant of the compensators. So based on the values of compensator constant, we can classify the compensators into many types. Okay. So the types of compensators. Types of compensators. So there are 4 types of compensators are there. So basically, first type is lead compensator. Okay, lead compensator. Then lag compensator. Lag compensator. Third one is lag lead compensator. Okay. Then fourth type is lead lag compensator. So among these four type of compensators, okay, so the fourth type is not normally used. Okay, so the lead lag compensator is not normally used. Only these four types of, okay, lead compensator, lag compensator. The lead compensator is similar to PD controller. The lag compensator similar to PI controller. The lag lead compensator similar to PID controller in controllers. Okay. So let's see one by one. First, we see what is a lead compensator. Okay. First one is a lead compensator. Lead compensator. Understand? Lead compensator. So what is meant by a lead compensator? So actually, the lead compensators, okay, are the term. Basically, the lead compensator is having one pole and one zero. Okay, it has a simple pole and simple zero in the left hand side of the S plane. So here, say S plane. Consider this is S plane. So a pole, okay, a pole and zero, a pole and zero located left arm of the S plane. So this is S plane. So imaginary, this is real. Okay. So the lead compensator is one that it has a simple pole and simple zero. We lie on the left half of the S plane. Okay. So in that this pole, the general term of the compensator transfer function lead compensator equal to Kc S plus is 0 divided by S plus P pole. So pole, if P is pole, Z is the. So what is main role of the lead compensator is it has one pole and zero. This is a zero and pole. Okay. So in this the pole is nearer to the origin. Okay. So if the pole is near, sorry, the zero is near to the origin, it is lead compensator. If pole is near to the origin, it is lag compensator. Okay. So the term lead in the lead compensator refers that the output voltage leads the input voltage, right? The output voltage leads, okay, leads the input voltage. And phase angle of the numerator, right? The phase angle of the numerator, okay? The phase angle of the numerator transfer function is greater than the denominator. Phase angle of numerator, okay, NR is greater than phase angle of the denominator, okay? So these are all two conditions for lead compensators. So the output voltage leads the input voltage. That is basically the output is sinusoidal. So the output sinusoidal voltage leads the input sinusoidal voltage, which has a phase. Okay, the phase in the numerator is greater than the phase in the denominator of the transfer function. Okay, so the lead. So the transfer function, general transfer function of the compensators are GC of S equal to Kc of S. So here, for lead compensator, we have to choose Z equal to 1 by tau. Okay. Then P equal to 1 by alpha times tau. Where alpha is the constant. It lies between less than 1, 0 and less than 1. Okay. So there are x poles and zeros. X into mark is pole zeros. So this is minus 1 by alpha tau. This is minus 1 by tau. So this is origin 0. Origin 0. So this is in the S plane, right? So this is according to the transfer function. Understand? So if you replace this, the GCFS transfer function of the lead compensator is AC into S plus 1 by tau divided by S plus 1 by alpha times tau. So this is the uh, transfer function model, generalized transfer function model lead compensator. This is pole zero diagram of the lead compensator. Pole zero diagram of the lead compensator. Since it has one pole in the numerator and denominator, the Bode plot, okay, the Bode plot of this transfer function, Bode plot of this transfer function is, say we have magnitude plot like this, then say at omega c, there are two corner frequencies, omega c1 equal to 1 by tau, then another one is 1 omega c2 equal to 1 by alpha tau, alpha tau. So according to this magnitude plot of the magnitude plot for this transfer function, okay, this transfer function is, so here 20 log modulus of GC of S, modulus of GC of S, okay. So the initial slope of the lead compensator is having 20 dB per decade, okay, 20 dB per decade. So it starts from here, it ends at this corner frequency, this corner frequency. This is the Bode magnitude plot for lead compensator. So this slope is 20 dB per decade. Understand? So in between this corner frequency omega c1 and c2, there is a resonant frequency, that is omega m, maximum frequency, that is the maximum magnitude. In that, the maximum magnitude will be given. So the magnitude maximum, okay, omega m. So similarly, for see the phase plot, okay, the phase plot. So this is in dB, 0 dB, 20 dB. So the phase plot, okay, the phase plot for the okay, so phase plot. So here is 90, say 90 degree, 45 degree, and 0 degree. Omega. So in this case, what is the nature of the phase response? The phase response is like okay. So at 45 degree, this is 1 by tau omega m 1 by alpha tau. 1 by alpha tau. Clear? So this is phase angle of GC of S. GC of S. So this is the Bode plot for lead compensator. Okay, lead compensator. Next, the polar plot of the lead compensator. So we know we already discussed how to draw a polar plot. You just refer the polar plot procedure. We already discussed in the previous lectures. So please refer polar plot. The polar plot starts. Okay. So this is the polar plot of lead compensator. So this is alpha. This is 1. So they start from alpha to 1. So the omega, this is omega equal to 0. Magnitude is alpha. So when omega is infinity, value is 1. So this is real, this is imaginary. Okay, this is imaginary axis. So real and imaginary axis. Okay, so this is G of j omega plane. G of j omega plane. So these plots, the Bode plot is plotted. This Bode plot is plotted with Kc equal to 1 and alpha equal to 0.1. Okay, alpha equal to 0.1. So it is inferred that magnitude of lead compensator is low at low frequencies. Okay, this is low at low frequencies. Okay, the magnitude of the compensator is low at low frequencies. The magnitude of lead compensator 0 is 0 at high frequencies. Understand or not? So from the Bode plot, it is concluded that the magnitude of lead compensator is low at low frequencies, and the magnitude of lead compensator is 0 at high frequencies. 0 at high frequencies. Hence, the lead compensator behaves like a high pass filter. So hence, high pass filter. So the magnitude of G of j omega, okay, is low at low frequencies. Low frequencies. Otherwise, the G of j omega is 0 at high frequencies. At high frequencies. Frequency high. Understand? So hence this called the compensator is called a high pass filter. High pass filter. So if the alpha value, the lead compensator constant alpha, if vary the alpha, what happened to the magnitude plot? Okay, magnitude plot. Say this is Bode magnitude plot. So dB. So this is say 20, 40, 60 dBs like that, right? So this is from say 0.01, 1, 10, 10, 100 like that. So 0.01, 0.1, 1, 10. That's all. Okay, we go up to 10. So what happened to the magnitude, Bode plot of the lead compensator? Understand or not? So magnitude of the lead compensator. So normally it starts from 0.1, say from 0.1. Let's have different colors. So this is you see these are all different magnitude of Bode plots for different values of alpha. Okay, say this is alpha 1, this is alpha 2, this is alpha 3, this is alpha 4. So the alpha 1 is greater than alpha 2, greater than alpha 3, greater than alpha 4. So this depicts the frequency response, magnitude response of linear Bode linear plot. Similarly, the phase. Okay, let's have the phase angle. Phase angle for similar phase angle of the uh, phase response of the lead compensator, right? So they will say 10, 10, 10, 1, 0.1, 0.0, sorry, 0.01. So in this case, what happened to the when it is alpha 1, clear? So this is the phase response of G of j omega, GC of, sorry, this is magnitude of GC of S. This is phase angle of GC of S. So varying alpha value for different alpha values. Say this is alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha 4. So same, okay, here also alpha 1 greater than alpha 2 greater than alpha 3 greater than alpha 4. So this is up to 90 degree. Okay, this is say 90 degree, 45 degree, etc. So this is the relation between the frequency response with respect to the compensator constant alpha. Understand? So let's see the determination of maximum angle. Okay, so that is one important thing. Okay, determination of maximum angle, phase angle, maximum angle, and maximum magnitude. Okay, if required, that also can be determined. Determination of maximum angle. Okay, we know that the compensator transfer function is Kc, right? Kc equal to alpha, okay, alpha of 1 plus s tau divided by 1 plus s alpha tau. Okay, so from this, let us find the magnitude of this GC of j omega. Magnitude equal to this it can be written as in frequency domain, frequency transfer function GC of j omega equal to alpha 1 plus j omega tau divided by 1 plus j omega alpha tau, j omega alpha tau. So what is the magnitude of GC of j omega? This is equal to, right, alpha into square root of 1 plus omega square tau square divided by square root of 1 plus omega square alpha square tau square. Understand? So this is the magnitude expression. Whereas what is the phase angle expression? So the phase angle expression is for the denominator part numerator part, it is tan inverse of omega tau minus the denominator tan inverse of omega alpha tau, right? Omega alpha tau. So this is the relation between magnitude and phase angle. So now let's find what are the, in this transfer function, the corner frequencies are already we've seen the corner frequencies. What are the corner frequencies? The omega c1 is 1 by tau, omega c2 is 1 by alpha times. We know that corner frequencies, the corner frequencies, omega c1 equal to 1 by tau, omega c2 equal to 1 by alpha times tau. So we can easily say the maximum frequency, the normalized maximum frequency omega m equal to square root of omega c1 into omega c2. This is one simple law. So according to this, omega m equal to square root of 1 by tau into 1 by alpha times tau. So what we get? We get omega m equal to 1 by tau. You see here, tau is taken outside alpha. So this is the maximum angle. So if we substitute this omega m in this transfer function, so in this transfer function, we know that we consider phi, take tan on both sides. Okay, apply tan on both sides of phase angle equation. So what we get? We get, understand or not? We get tan phi equal to tan of tan inverse of omega tau minus tan inverse of omega alpha tau, right? Or tan inverse of omega alpha tau. So now, as usual, you please remember this is say A. This term is B. So tan of A minus B. So this is tan alpha. So tan alpha, tan phi equal to tan of A minus B, tan A minus tan B divided by tan inverse 1 plus tan A minus tan B. Tan A into tan B, sorry. So this what I am going to write here, tan of A. So tan of tan inverse is cancel omega tau. So omega tau minus omega alpha tau divided by, here is minus, no, denominator plus, omega tau into omega alpha tau. So let us simplify this. So tan phi equal to omega minus omega tau divided by omega tau minus omega alpha tau divided by 1 plus omega square tau square alpha, omega square tau square alpha. Now let us find maximum angle. To find maximum angle phi m, substitute omega by omega m. So in this equation, let us substitute tan phi m equal to omega m. So omega m tau, omega m tau minus omega m alpha tau divided by 1 plus omega m square tau square alpha. Now let's substitute the values. Okay, let us substitute the values here. So what is the value? Tau root alpha. Okay, So tan phi m maximum angle equal to omega m. Omega m instead of omega m 1 by tau root alpha minus 1 by into tau 1 by tau root alpha into tau into alpha divided by 1 plus 1 by what is that? 1 by z root alpha into alpha, sorry, into tau into tau alpha divided by tau alpha divided by uh, tau root alpha, tau root alpha. All right. So if you simplify this tau cancel, this tau cancel. So this root here we will be getting only root alpha. Here this tau cancel, this tau cancel. So what we get here is alpha. This is alpha. This is alpha. So what do we get here? 1 plus alpha. Okay. So tau cancel, root alpha into root alpha alpha. So we simply get 2. The denominator 2. So denominator is 2. Numerator is 1 by root alpha minus root alpha. So take LCM in the numerator. Numerator, what will get? The numerator alpha, right? So 1 by 2 root alpha 1 minus alpha. So the numerator 1 minus alpha, denominator is 2 root alpha. 2 root alpha. Am I right? 2 root alpha. So tan phi m. So tan maximum phi m equal to 1 minus alpha divided by 2 root alpha. So if you draw a right angle triangle for this value component, say this is phi m. So the opposite side is 1 minus alpha. The adjacent is 2 root alpha. So what about this hypotenuse? So this hypotenuse is 1 minus alpha. So opposite square plus this equal to this. So 1 minus 2 alpha plus alpha square plus 2 alpha. Okay, 2 alpha and this sorry, the 4 alpha. So 4 alpha, right? So 2 alpha, this minus. So what do we get? 1 plus 2 alpha plus alpha square. So this will be 1 plus alpha. So 1 plus alpha. So what is sin phi? So sin phi m. Sin phi m equal to 1 minus alpha divided by 1 plus alpha. So the alpha value from the maximum phase angle is, what is that? If you multiply and divide this, 1 minus sin phi m divided by 1 plus sin phi m. So this is the value of alpha from the maximum angle. From the maximum angle. Understand or not? from the maximum magnitude. Similarly, what will be the maximum magnitude corresponding to this value? So what is the maximum magnitude? What we will get? So the maximum magnitude, if you want, you can substitute here. So instead of omega, substitute omega. Okay. So to get to find maximum magnitude. So the magnitude equal to alpha into square root of m max 1 plus omega m square tau square divided by square root of 1 plus omega m square tau square alpha. Okay, alpha square. Understand that? So you substitute the value of omega m. What is omega m? Omega m equal to 1 by tau root alpha. So let us substitute alpha 1 plus omega m square. Okay, 1 by tau square alpha into tau square divided by square root of 1 plus 1 by tau square alpha into tau square alpha square. Clear? So alpha into square root of this tau square cancel. So 1 by alpha, 1 plus 1 by alpha divided by square root of this tau square cancel. This alpha cancel. So 1 plus alpha. 1 plus alpha. Alright? So 1 plus alpha. So what do we get? You take LCM in the numerator. If you take LCM in the numerator, m max equal to alpha square root of 1 plus alpha divided by alpha divided by square root of 1 plus alpha. So if you remove the alpha outside, the root alpha, okay, root alpha. So this root alpha only root alpha. So this 1 plus alpha, this cancel together, right? So this will be just root alpha. So the maximum magnitude of the lead compensate is root alpha. Understand? Root alpha, right? So next, we can realize this lead compensator in electrical network. We can realize the lead compensator in electrical networks. So what will be the electrical network? So realizing in electrical network, okay? Electrical network of lead compensator. So what is the electrical network of the lead compensator? So as I said, the lead compensator is a high pass filter, right? So we can simply have one high pass filter circuit. So this is high pass filter whose resistance is here. So this is output. Okay. So V0, VI, say R1, C1, R1, C1. So this is input, this is output. Okay. V of T, V0 of T. So there is a current. Here is the current flow, I. You can divide the I into two components. So one is I1, the I2. So current through this path is I. Understand? So what is a lead compensator? Okay. So this compensator is a electrical network which this is an electrical network which produces a sinusoidal output having phase lead when a sinusoidal input is applied. Understand? This is an electrical network which produces a sinusoidal output having phase lead when a sinusoidal input is applied. Right? Understand? So let us let us find the transfer function for this electrical network. So according to the Kirchhoff's current law, so according to KCL, I1 of t plus I2 equal to I. Okay, I1 of t equal to. Similarly, according to the Ohm's law, okay, according to the Kirchhoff's law, right? So according to the Kirchhoff's law, so what is the drop across the C1 and the R1 parallel? So let us write the KVL equations. C1 difference of output and input D of V1 minus V0 divided by dt plus 1 by R1 difference V1 Vi minus V0, okay, equal to output. This equation across, say this is R, across R, say R2. So 1 by R2 V0 of t. Okay, 1 by V0 of t. So now apply Laplace transfer function. Okay, say equation number 1. Apply Laplace transfer function on both sides. So what will get? Differential form means yes, C1 into Vi of s minus V0 of s. Okay, plus 1 by R1 Vi of s minus V0 of s. Okay, equal to 1 by R2 V0 of s. Equation number 2. Okay. So now we separate input and output side of this equation. So what we can do? Yes, C1 Vi here plus R1 here. You see this Vi here plus 1 by R1, okay, into Vi of s. Then V0, okay, the V0 of s, this equal bring to that side. So s 1 by R2 plus s C1 plus 1 by R1 into V0 of s Very simple. Okay. So now let us manipulate this to get V0 of s. to VAE of S, transfer function. So what we will get in the numerator, we can have it as like this, say S plus 1 by R1 C1. I'm going to manipulate this. So here the denominator separate as S plus 1 by R2 by R1 plus R2, okay, into R1 C1. So equation number 3. Equation number 3. By comparing with the generalized transfer function. What is the generalized transfer function? What is the generalized transfer function here? Okay. By on comparing equation number 3 with GC of S equal to S plus 1 by tau divided by S plus 1 by alpha times tau with 3, okay, with equation 3. So we can say this equation from this can be written as alpha. So alpha equal to R2 by R1 plus R2. This can be compared with tau. Okay. So I'm comparing this, tau equal to R1 C1, then alpha equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this is the transfer function, okay, transfer function for the lead compensator. So what are the effects of this lead compensator? Effects. What are the effects of lead compensator? Okay. So since we are adding dominant zero means 0 near the origin. Okay. Since we are adding a 0 near to the origin. Say we are near to the, that is here, near to the origin, that is minus 1 by tau. So since we are adding near to this 0 called dominant 0. Dominant 0. So since we are adding a dominant 0, the damping of first option is damping of closed loop system increases. If zeta increases, what happens? Peak overshoot increases, right? Okay, since the damping of closed loop system increases, zeta, okay, increases, the dominant 0 added to the damping of the closed loop system increases. Okay, damping increases. So what happens? The peak overshoot, rise time, settling time decreases. Peak overshoot, maximum peak overshoot, then rise time, then settling time, and rise time. So peak overshoot, settling time, rise time decreases. Okay, decreases, and due to this, the transient response. Due to this, transient response increases. Due to this, transient response increases. Okay. Also, the gain margin, phase margin, gain margin, and phase margin increases, gets increased. Okay, get increased. Okay. Also, it improves the relative stability. Improves relative stability. Since the phase margin and gain margin gets improved, increased, obviously the relative stability also increases. Improves the relative stability. Relative stability. Relative stability. Okay. So this also increase the bandwidth. Okay. So also increase the bandwidth with the faster response time. So it also increases increases the bandwidth. Okay. So the response become faster. Faster response. Faster response. So bandwidth increases means faster response. What are the limitations of this lead compensator? Limitations of the lead compensator. So what are the limitations of the lead compensator? This is single phase lead compensator, provides maximum of 90 degree. Okay. So the phase lead can provide. So limitation is it is applicable for a single phase. Okay. So single phase lead compensator can provide maximum phase lead of 90 degree only. If the phase lead is more than 90 degrees required, we go for multi-stage. If we want phase lead of more than 90 degree, phase lead of more than 90 degree, multiple compensators are required. Understand? Must be used. There is always possibility of reaching the conditional stable condition. Okay, only conditional stable conditions. Always possible. Only conditional stability. Okay, conditional stability. Conditional stability is possible. That is the limitation. Okay. Even though the desired requirements are achieved. Okay. Even though all other desired specifications achieved, only conditional stability is possible with the lead compensator, right? Lead compensator. Understand or not? So this is about lead compensator for the control system. Thank you very much. Please subscribe our channel. Thank you very much.